That is how many players played for the OKC Thunder last season. 26. 26 players is a lot of players. My grade 8 graduating class had about 15 people. That's mental. And a lot of these players you've probably never heard of before. Rob Edwards, Scotty Hobson, who's played a total of 4 NBA games in his career, and Gabriel Deck. Well, maybe you heard of him before, but damn, I really have no idea who these guys are. They probably don't know me either, so it's fair game. But anyways, the Thunder still do have a lot of well-known players and a bunch of draft picks in the next 8 years. It makes you wonder, where can they fit all these players? What are they gonna do next? It doesn't help when they are all at a similar level and stage in their NBA career, competing all for the same minutes. Really, some of the development for the Thunder isn't going as smoothly as it could be going, and it shows what really happens when you have too many similar young players. Last season, the Oklahoma City Thunder made it clear they were going to be tanking, and winning was never really in their top priorities. And their tank worked pretty well, as they finished 14th in the West with a 24-58 record, helping them bag the number 2 pick, where they would select Chet Holmgren. They now have a nice little young big three of Chet, Giddey, and Shea. Speaking of Shea, he only played 56 games last season, mostly due to ankle problems. Because Shea, the clear franchise player, was absent for a good chunk of the season, and due to other injuries, tanking, etc., this is where these new players were able to infiltrate the roster, which totaled up to 26 players. With the 26 players, some of whom only played a handful of games, there were 35 different starting lineups last season for the Thunder, including the infamous and deadly Horde, Kalaitzakis, Krejci, Roby, and Simpson lineup. Tell me you genuinely feel intimidated when you see those guys. Most teams probably didn't, and that's why they only had a 1-3 record. With so many different starting lineups, the continuity obviously can't be great, and that might have been the plan because they lost a ton of games. In turn, they got the number 2 pick for that. And now the ultimate tanking jackpot for this season is a Victor Wembanyama or a Scoot Henderson. But for some of the legit pieces they have, this tanking format could be damaging for them. And last season, it definitely was for a few guys. Darius Bazley was thought to be one of the core pieces to the Thunder's rebuilding process, and was someone who averaged 14 points a game the season before, albeit on poor efficiency. But this season, due to the Thunder matching players in the starting lineups like a slot machine, in what could have been a breakout year for Bazley, his points dropped to 11 a game, and almost every other category his numbers dropped as well, including his minutes per game. Another player who was hit with similar problems was French guard Theo Maledon. Maledon as a rookie averaged 10 points a game and started 49 games and looked pretty solid as a nice little piece for the Thunder. This season he only started 7 games, and his numbers dropped as well. Going from 10 to 7 points a game, his minutes also declined by almost 10 minutes a game, going from 27 to 18 a game. This can be partially attributed to the arrival of Josh Giddey, but it doesn't explain that harsh of a drop. With the way the Thunder are going in their future, it's not hard to wonder, is this style of development the correct one? At the start of the season, the Thunder's average age was 23.5, and with 4 more rookies this season, that age should be even younger come the start of the new season. With an obligation to play young players and give all of them equal opportunity, it puts the players in a tough position. All the players are at similar levels. Young players in their first few years in the league, given minutes to often just because. There really was no balance in the roster, and there might not be much more this season. Last year, Shea was way above the rest of the roster. Then came Giddey, Lu Dort, Bazley, Favors, Terrence Mann as a rookie, Tre Mann as a rookie, and then there was pretty much the rest, scrapping for anything, scrapping for any minutes they could get. This season, the core is shaping out a bit more as they've brought in Chet, J-Dub, Jang, but there still is a lot of fighting for minutes beneath. Between the other young decent players, all playing between probably about 15 and 25 minutes a game. The Thunder could be good this season too, if everybody stays healthy, but they need to find that balance, which looks way too far away, with all the new players, draft picks, etc. looming over their head in the future. It almost seems like a burden to the team. Everyone thinks the same thing. With all these assets and with all this draft capital, how could they mess it up? And it's a good question. It would take a lot, but the way it's going, majority of the young players the Thunder have are all going to end up the same. Decent, but not good. This season for the Thunder is becoming so much more important than most people realize. It's not just another tank season. It can't be. It's about establishing the right habits with the right players and making decisions on a lot of these young players. Sam Presti needs to do something, and do something fast. He can't have these picks looming over him like a huge storm cloud. Tanking and rebuilding is not as easy as just throwing a ton of young players on the court. That's not how they develop, and that's not the way to keep the fans happy either. If the Thunder don't figure this out, they could learn the hard way and flop the highest amount of draft picks and young assets in NBA history. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And as always, stay rested. See you in the next one.